Eagles Entertainment.
Welcome, Eagles everywhere, to the Eagles Insider Podcast presented by Lincoln Financial Group. I'm Insider Dave Spadaro at the NovaCare Complex, trying to shake off the disappointment of an 0-2 start, understanding that this is a long season and a lot of strange twists and turns usually occur for the Philadelphia Eagles during the course of a season. So, with the Bengals coming to town, we're going to take our first look at them. They're 0-2. They've got the number one draft pick, Joe Burrow, at the quarterback position. They've got a lot of talents, so don't take this game on Sunday lightly. We'll visit with Geoff Hobson from Bengals.com. He'll tell us the inside word on Cincinnati. And we're also going to have our weekly one-on-one with head coach Doug Pederson as he searches for answers. Questions about the quarterback, Carson Wentz, the offensive production, injuries. Oh boy, the head coach has a lot going on. But let's begin with right tackle Lane Johnson, who made his 2020 debut on Sunday against the Rams after missing the opener with an ankle injury. Johnson has battled some injuries in the past. He's a tough guy. He's an incredibly key member of the Eagles offense, and he is ready for a good Cincinnati front on Sunday. One-on-one with right tackle Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson, welcome to the Eagles Insider Podcast. First question is, how did it feel on Sunday getting through the injury, and how do you feel a few days after?
Yeah, I felt good getting back out there. I had limited practice, but just glad to be out there and playing football. It's not the end result that we wanted, but it feels good to be back out there and running around.
Lane, what is it like for you to miss a football game? Describe what you go through emotionally, because I know you love being out there so much.
Well, it's just I have a lot of guys that depend on me. I depend on them, and when you're not out there, man, it feels like missing a piece of the puzzle. I would say, so yeah.
At Washington, you're on the sideline. Were you involved in coaching up guys? I mean, were you standing there with Stout looking at things in a more critical manner?
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to tell the young guys to really just try not to overthink. I know you have a lot of stuff going through your head. You're trying to be perfect on every play, but try to drown all that out, concentrate one play at a time, and then really on the sidelines was stay out of the way, and picked up a lot of trash that day. So,
Lane, this offensive line has been among the best in the league since you've been here. This year, with all these injuries, it's so tough to get continuity. What has it been like seeing so many people in and out of the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, it's really with how the NFL goes. You have a lot of interchangeable parts, guys going in and out. It's been like that throughout my career. So it's interesting, you see these young guys stepping up, getting into play, and slowly evolving into the players that they're meant to be. So, it's fun watching the progress and really sitting back and trying to help them out as much as I can.
Do you feel for people like Brandon Brooks, who's, down for a while here? I mean, he's been banged up the last couple of years, and you guys are dance partners on the right side of the offensive line.
Yeah, I miss my guy. He, the best at what he does, and it makes me a better player, and really makes it easy for me on Sundays. But the way he's looking with rehab, man, I expect him to be out there, probably sooner rather than later.
I love to hear that. What percentage of health do you think you are, if you were to guess?
I mean, I'm getting around, close to 100. So it's healing up and getting my strength back, and where I can just play and don't really have to think about it a whole lot.
How did you feel you played on Sunday?
I felt I played pretty well. Really when you go back, I mean, there's always lots of plays where you can go back and say my effort could have been a little bit better. So going back and looking at that, that's pretty much the case.
Lane, take me into the locker room. What's happening with the guys 0-2? Nobody expected to be here. What's the mindset like?
Man, it's really kill or be killed. You get backed into a corner, into a tight spot. You got to fight your way out. So that's where we're at. I mean, you can say all this and all that, but really the only thing that matters in this league is win. So we can say what we're going to do. It all goes down to how we play Sunday. I know we got to get back at it here on the practice field, and that's where our focus is, and intensity, and do everything we can to get a win.
You've been here before. What are the keys to not getting into finger pointing, not letting this season go south?
Man, you really got to ignore all the outside stuff. I mean, you really just you have a job to do. You have an objective, and you got to give everything you can. It's inside of your being to get that job done, and that's really it. Everything else kind of goes to the side of that. So, really, you got to regain focus.
I know that it's early in the week. Cincinnati Bengals, pretty good front. I mean, they came into the season thinking they were going to have a really good front. I know they've had some injuries. You expecting Geno Atkins and company?
Mike Daniels was out last week. Geno Atkins, a Hall of Famer. Mike Daniels, a hell of a player. Got Carlos Dunlap on the edge, hell of a player. Hubbard, Lawson. So really, really good fronts. Got some active linebackers too. So, yeah, really, really good front this week. And yet they got chewed up last week by the Browns. Do you see why? I know they've had some – also, like every other team, people banged up. It really, it's amazing what these injuries are doing to teams in the NFL. Yeah, it can change the course for a lot of teams. Really, I think it may be just gap integrity. They may be missing with staying gap sound and having some holes exposed when you go back and watch the tape. But as far as talent and guys, whenever they're not injured, they're a really good football team. Lane, finally, what was it like playing at Lincoln Financial Field as you kind of think back on it without the fans? It was weird. It was weird running out the tunnel, nobody out there, playing the Rocky theme song. There's nobody cheering. It's, it's really, I guess, a lot like practice, I guess, but not the game experience is, doesn't feel just right. Was it at all a challenge for you to get to your peak emotionally? That's the thing, man. I try not to get too worked up for games. I notice the times that I do that, I end up not playing too well, so I really just go out there and the hardest thing, man, is just to maintain focus on that one play and not to get distracted and try to give it your all on every play. So when you go back and watch the film, there's lots of plays you can get more effort in, and that goes all across the board. Lane, thanks so much. Good luck on Sunday. Beat the Bengals. Yep. Yes, sir. As promised, head coach Doug Pederson, an exclusive interview. The head coach back to the drawing board after a 37-19 loss to Los Angeles on Sunday. What's ahead for the Eagles against Cincinnati? Let's hear it from the head coach. We welcome you into our weekly one-on-one interview with head coach Doug Pederson. I'm insider Dave Spadaro. And hey, Doug, 0-2, nobody expected to be in this position. First time you've been in this spot. So what is the tone that you want to set this week for this football team?
Well, the tone is, we've got to come to work and work. We dug ourselves into this hole, and we're gonna obviously pull ourselves out of this hole. And the only way I know how to do that is to come to work this week and prepare. We got another great opportunity against the Bengals, on Sunday. Looking forward to that opportunity and challenge. And look, it's going to take everybody, as we know, and we got to fix some things, but the guys are up for the task. In the past, there have been times when you've kind of reconstructed pieces of the offense. Do you feel like you need to do that for this week or for moving forward? We're only 2 weeks in, and really, I think we're kind of figuring out kind of who we are as an offense and a defense, and really as a team. And we did take some subtle steps forward this past week, and things we can build on moving forward. So I don't think there's going to be a ton of wholesale changes with players or scheme or philosophy. It's just a matter of us understanding where we are and working hard to get us out of it. What do you envision the identity of this offense to be? In the picture that you laid out before the season with all the personnel, what did you think this offense would be and now could be? Well, I think, even my philosophy really hasn't changed, with what we had discussed earlier. I mean, we still want to, be able to run the football, and then the play action pass game, comes off of that. One of Carson's strengths, obviously, is his ability outside the pocket, with the quarterback boots and nakeds to throw the ball down the field, and then we mixed in the screen game, which we had some opportunities in the game this past weekend, to make some yards in the screen game. But that right there, when you're talking about first and second down, that's what our identity is and what it should be, and we've got to. I have to continue to remind our players that that's who we are. Doug, you just had a press conference on Monday. You answered about 25 straight questions about Carson. Everybody wondering about number 11. You've been there. You played the position. You're a quarterback whisperer. What is he going through, and how does he get back on track? Look, it's difficult and it's hard. It's hard to play the position. It's hard to play any position at the National Football League level, and especially quarterback. And Carson's a prideful guy, and he's going to put a lot of pressure on himself to perform. And I just got to continue to communicate with him that he doesn't have to do everything himself, right? Just let the offense work, let the guys around him work, trust his eyes, read and react, and do the things that he's gifted at doing. And I think if we just kind of get him back to that, he's going to be fine. But with the bad, obviously comes some outside pressure, and he's got to just kind of spit that out and focus on the team, focus on his job, and it's probably easier said than done. Obviously, I've experienced it firsthand as a player, so I know what it's all about.
Yeah. So what is it all about? How did you get through it? How do quarterbacks get through it? Do you have sleepless nights? Do you come in earlier? Do you try not to put too much pressure on yourself?
I don't think you have to do anything out of your normal routine. For me, it was just a matter of maybe focusing in a little bit more on the game plan. For coaches, for us, it's maybe scaling back a little bit, having less volume in a game plan, so you don't have to think as much and you just go play. And really just come to work on Wednesday prepared and ready to go and lead, stand up in front of the team and lead the team, as the quarterback does. And that's all he has to do. It's not about putting any added pressure on himself. And this game's hard enough, right? There's always going to be pressure on the quarterback to perform, and he doesn't have to do that.
Doug, there are more changes for the offensive line coming with Isaac Seumalo out for a bit here. What do you see up front here for the week ahead?
Well, obviously, Nate Herbig had a really good game this past week. Kelsey played well. It was great to see Lane Johnson back out there, and then, of course, JP settling in at the left tackle spot. And now with Isaac going to miss some time, Matt Pryor filled in, did okay. Sua Opeta is a player that's been our practice squad. We've elevated him, has a chance. Again, we've got some opportunities, some young guys, Jamon Brown, who we just picked up. We got to get him caught up to speed pretty quick here and see where he's at and see what he can do and if we can plug him in and help. So there are some options there. And we're gonna work to find the best one.
Doug, tell me what you're seeing from the defense, particularly in the red zone. So good with Jim Schwartz as the defensive coordinator. This year in 2 games, it's been a struggle.
Yeah, it's you think about last year and the last couple of seasons, and that's the hardest thing is, you look back and think we can kind of duplicate the same things. Well, this is a different season, and teams have a chance, just like with us. Teams have a chance to scout us. We have a chance to scout, our opponents and all of that. And and it just takes some time. I really don't like to keep reflecting back on the lack of training camp time or OTA time, but really that's where you really put your foundation of your offense and defense in and your philosophies and really be able to work on some things. And there's got to be that sense of urgency, right? That we all have to get this thing done, and we got to do it in a quickly, a timely manner, because we're into the regular season. We're 2 weeks in and going on week 3. So that sense of urgency has to really apply in all aspects of our game.
Cincinnati comes to town on Sunday. Number 1 pick Joe Burrow. I wonder how much you looked at him before the draft. I mean, you knew you weren't going to get a shot at him, but did you scout him a lot?
I didn't scout him a ton because I knew obviously we weren't in that position, but you just love the way he plays and approaches the game. He's a lot like our guy from the standpoint of he's smart, he's a thinker, good athleticism, can escape, can extend the plays with his legs. Tough kid, can stand in there and take a shot. Obviously a proven winner. What he did at LSU last year and winning a national championship and all the, sort of the accolades that come with that. And he's really started his season or his career, really well. So, I'm a fan of his, obviously. But come Sunday, he's on the other side, so we need to get after him.
Doug, your track record suggests that this will turn around. We got a long season ahead of us, but you know how Eagles fans are. They want to win every week, obviously. Give me some reasons why, for them, on their benefit, why you feel good about where this team is headed.
Well, don't get us wrong either. We want to win every weekend too.
Of course.
And that goes without saying. But again, our guys, as I said earlier, our guys are mad. They're determined. They're eager to get back out on the practice field and really fix what's been wrong. And that's. Yeah, sometimes people don't want to hear that. They want to hear like, "Oh, you're gonna, put in all these new plays or change your offense." You don't have to do that, because all we have to do is fix the issues in front of us. We do that, we're going to be okay. and all we got to do is get that first W on the board, and then we'll see what happens after that.
It comes on Sunday, Cincinnati at Lincoln Financial Field. Head Coach Doug Pederson, our weekly one-on-one. Thanks so much, Coach, and let's go beat the Bengals on Sunday.
Thank you, Dave.
And finally, the Bengals last playing on Thursday night, losing to the Cleveland Browns, allowing more than 200 rushing yards. It was an offensive explosion by both teams, and in front of a national television audience, number 1 draft pick Joe Burrow looked pretty good. He's got 3 touchdown passes and 1 interception in his 2 starts, both losses. He's taken a lot of hits. He's shown a lot of leadership. And yes, a whole lot of promise. Let's hear the inside word on the Cincinnati Bengals. My guest, Geoff Hobson from Bengals.com. Geoff Hobson from Bengals.com. Geoff, 2 teams with 0-2 records, but it just seems like the Bengals are not okay with it, but they're like, hey, we're going to grow with Joe Burrow. How impressive has the rookie quarterback been?
Well, Dave, he's been great. I mean, he's been great not only on the field but off the field. He's, he was elected captain by these guys, which you've been in this league long enough. That doesn't happen very often, where the rookie becomes, your offensive captain, and then on the field, he's been, he came, if the ref doesn't throw the flag in the opener, he's got a fourth quarter comeback win marching you down the field. And then, he puts 30 points up on the board Thursday night, 72-hour recovery period. And so, yeah, he's been really, he's been great. The concern around here is he's taken too many shots, that he's been sacked a bit, and they've had trouble getting the running game going. So, they're really trying to concentrate on protecting him.
Geoff, tell me about Joe Burrow. I mean, I've watched him play a little bit, but is he a classic pocket quarterback? I mean, how would you kind of describe him at this stage in his career, and where can he go in your opinion? You've seen enough quarterbacks in your career to know the really great ones when you come across them.
Yeah, I don't know how great he's going to be. I know he's going to be a good one. Dave, it's kind of funny. I kind of describe him. He's kind of like a welterweight fighter back there. He's not your classic pocket passer in the sense like Lenz, who's just a big guy and stands up there, 7-step drop, a la Carson Palmer, and just guns it. He's got a great pocket presence in the sense he knows how to move. He can move from side to side, and he makes really good snap decisions with people in his face. I think he can. I think he's mobile. I think they could probably roll him out if they wanted to a little bit. Can bootleg it a little bit. So, he's a hard comp. To his style. I think he's kind of got a style all his own because I think he's very athletic, and he's got. And I'm not sure that you call him. He's got a pocket presence, but I don't know if he's a pocket passer. You know what I mean? I think he is a very good pocket passer, but he can get out of there and he can make something happen.
And without a real off season, to come in and to grasp the offense, to be a captain, certainly the moment is not too large for him. These are all very positive developments for the Cincinnati Bengals, right?
Oh, no question. We just got to stop the other team and, give him a chance. I think as good as he is, you do have to do some basics, and that's keeping him in games. You can't have a defense giving up 215 yards on the ground, and you got to get your own ground game going. And so as good as he is, he'll only take the next step if these guys take the next step.
Okay, so Geoff, let's talk about the ground game. What did you expect from this ground game, and what have you seen through 2 games?
Well, I thought they might use a little bit more, Dave. I just thought with the rookie quarterback, they might try to ease him in a little bit. But I think they would probably like a little more balance too. And it was hard to be balanced the other night because they got down, pretty quick, and so it's hard to rip them for not being balanced in that one. But I think they'd like to give it to Joe Mixon a little bit more. I mean, this is one of these guys who gets better the more he touches it, And at the moment, the line is having a hard – and I don't know if this is a product of not having preseason games. They talk about precision in the passing game. You need timing in the running game too. And they really don't seem to have the timing that they had at the end of last year when Joe was the number 2 rusher in the league over the last 8 games of the year. It was he was running 1-2. He and Derrick Henry were 1-2, and haven't really seen that precision, that rhythm that they got into that back then. So I think it's something they're going to concentrate on, because I think they feel like it will help Burrow get even more acclimated.
Passing targets, we know about A.J. Green. How's he looked coming back from the injury?
I think he's still kind of trying to feel his way a little bit. Pretty rare thing. He had 13 targets the other night and only 3 catches. And I think that's only happened, according to NFL.com, I think that's only happened twice before in the last decade. It's pretty rare when a guy like A.J. hits 13 targets and doesn't have a big night. So I think he and Burrow is still trying to get connected. I mean, that to me is a casualty of not being around since, just they've only been on the field really barely a month. To me, that's where you can see kind of the fallout of that. I think also AJ's just trying to get back in. He hasn't played in almost 2 years, so I think he's trying to get back into sync. And I don't think there's any. It's not going to take him too long to do that, because he's shown flashes of being that guy. But I think he's just got to get hooked up with Burrow, and he's got to get a few more snaps under him.
I know that you had a loss at tight end. How significant was that loss, and what other targets does Joe use?
Oh yeah, I mean that is a tough loss. C.J. Uzomah, their most experienced tight end, and he was having a really good year. He was at 8 catches. He was one of his more reliable targets. But I think you'll see Joe go to his tight end. The next guy up is Drew Sample, guy who's a second-round pick for them in 2019. They got a lot of hope in him. I think you'll see him. But his go-to guy really has been Tyler Boyd. I think this guy is a lock on 4th down. I think Joe completed all 5 4th down attempts in Cleveland Thursday night. 3 of them went to Tyler Boyd, and that's what Tyler Boyd does. He moves the chains. He's a slot receiver. He's really come into his own. So you'll see Joe go to AJ, you'll see him go to Boyd, and I think you'll see him go to Sample underneath quite a bit.
How good's the offensive line, Geoff?
I think it's better than people think. But when your quarterback gets hit like that, they're gonna get criticized. So they know that, and I think they just need reps together. I think they feel a lot better, Dave. I think they feel a lot better about this line now than they did last year. Jonah Williams at left tackle, he's their number 1 pick from 2019. He's finally playing. I think they like what he's doing. I think they're going with these 2 big guards now. Michael Jordan at left guard, Fred Johnson at right guard. Very big men. I think they really like what they're going to do in the future for him. And, I think that, like I said, the numbers may not be there from the folks from Pro Football Focus, but I think they feel a lot better about this unit this year than they did last year.
And then, Geoff, there's the defense. I guess I thought this defense would have a really powerful front 4, and then everything would kind of work off that. Is that what you're seeing?
Well, they have they've been just paralyzed at defensive tackle. I mean, they lost 2 guys before they even took a snap, lost another tackle once camp got going, and then they haven't had their perennial Pro Bowler, Geno Atkins, at all this year. And Mike Daniels, a very good, solid veteran who they picked up right before camp, he didn't play at all last game. So it was Geno and Mike Daniels. So they were going with 3, 4, 5 backup D tackles. So they hope to have at least Geno back, or Daniels. They hope to have one of those guys back this week. But that seems to have set a kind of a tough tone for them, because they committed more than $100 million in salary and free agency on defense. And, they drafted 2 linebackers pretty high. And so with all with the sense that they were going to stop the run, so they could stop the run and they get very talented pass rushers. But you don't know that, because, they're giving up, they're getting gashed. And they've been gashed for the last 3 years in the ground game. And Cleveland did it again the other night. So they got to get Geno back. They got to get Daniels back, and they got to get some, they got to play together more. To me, that's another casualty of not having a preseason. They overhauled the defense, which was just the exact move, but it's hard to get everybody in sync with the amount of time they've had on the field.
We're trying to get Carson Wentz going here. And I know that you had injuries in the secondary as well, correct?
Yeah, but not as the corner that they got from the Vikings, who they paid a lot of money for. Trey Waynes is not going to be back until November, probably much later in the year with an injury. They've been banged up at safety, but they should have Sean Williams back this week, I think, one of their safeties. And they've been getting pretty good play at corner from William Jackson III, and there's Phillips. They've played okay, but it's been the problem that they have is not being able to stop the run. I think they've been getting pretty good corner play, but they have to. Their front seven has to get it together.
How do the Bengals win this game, Geoff?
I think they have to. They obviously have to stop the run, and they have to protect Burrow. They got to get Mixon. They got to get Mixon going. I think they get Mixon going. That's the key for him. Wentz is dangerous. Keep him off the field, and it'd be tough. I guess if I don't know, Dave, you're going to have fans there. I guess, right?
No fans. No fans.
No fans. Well, that's probably a break for Wentz because they probably his first mistake. They'll probably be all over him, but he won't have to deal with that. And I think this is in the Bengals' court now. They have to take advantage of Mixon, and they have to protect him. I think they got to keep the defense. They got to keep the defense off the field until they can get squared away. So they run the ball. They get a shot.
Yeah, two teams desperate for a win. Geoff, thank you so much. And that will do it for this episode of the Eagles Insider Podcast presented by Lincoln Financial Group. I'm Insider Dave Spadero. I want to thank Peter Kelly and Ray Doyle for their work. I want to thank all of you for tuning in each and every episode. And if you do have a moment to drop us a 5-star review or any kind of review, that is more than welcome. We have the link for you in the details section of your podcast library. I'm back on Friday with our tailgate edition as we get closer to Week 3, the Eagles and the Bengals. Boy, oh boy, do we need a Philadelphia victory, huh? Eagles beat the Bengals. Got a few more days to prepare here in practice at the NovaCare Complex. Thanks for joining, everyone. Have yourselves a great Eagles day, and fly, Eagles, fly. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! We want you to know about all the podcasts in the Eagles network of podcasts. So make sure you tune in to not only this Eagles Insider podcast 3 times a week, but make sure you subscribe and listen to the Eagle Eye in the Sky podcast every Tuesday and Thursday, our Journey to the Draft podcast Tuesday and Thursday, and our Eagles Update podcasts, which give you the news in a flash, Monday through Saturday throughout this 2020 season. Sign up, subscribe, and listen to our Eagles network of podcasts. And remember, Eagles fans, text EAGLES to 26797 to register to vote.